got your hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to add a word to what Burkhard said about how private letters could be protected in a way that enables publication because of the important information contained in it. I think common law has already taken that into consideration, although the way the law has gone in modern times has tended to undermine that, because under common law, private letters are protected by conferring on the writer the ownership of those letters. And common law prescribes that those letters should not be published without the consent of the writer or the estate after the death of the writer. I think through that medium, common law tries to encourage the protection of private letters. So the writer would have no need to destroy them, knowing that they wouldn't be published without his or her consent, even after death. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Lillian?
Yeah, I'm unmuted, right? Yeah, nothing too profound. It's just that every time we set up these vignettes, as it were, you know, Charles Darwin, Charles Dickens, we tend to focus on a conflict between A and B. So we tend to focus on a conflict between, say, you know, Dickens and the interests of society. Whereas actually we've usually got this cluster of players, you know, the Dickens, society, his family, his publishers who might have interest in the copyrights, friends who might be feeling that their reputation might be impugned, lovers. And one reason why I tried to look at a more complicated scenario was in one of the pieces I did with Edina, where I looked at organ donation, you know, where you've got at least a tripartite conflict all the time, you know, between the deceased and their wishes when they weren't dead, the family, often the friends as well, and society's need for organs, right? And it's really interesting actually to see how the societal interest there has really overwhelmed the other interests as various countries have moved towards opt out rather than opt in terms of organ donation. Scotland's just done it like 3 weeks ago or something, because I've got a brochure sitting on my kitchen table that I haven't read. So I'm just saying that it would be really useful to look at other paradigms sometimes in these famous writers. And the other reason why is because we're not all famous writers, which someone just said. You know, we have moved, you know, I think in a qualitative way, not just a quantitative way. We have to look for different principles for dealing that these things affect everybody. And, you know, that they have different priorities than people who think that their writings are going to be useful for society often are. But yeah, also I just wanted to say as a last thing, as a kind of moderator going into the other sessions, is maybe I've scribbled down, we need to think about what we want the outputs of this whole workshop session to be. I mean, do we want draft legislation? Do we want to end up with a draft bill that we could propose to the Law Commission? Do we want to end up with a set of principles that say Jonathan might like? Or do we just want to discuss on a more multidisciplinary way? So I just leave that sitting there.
So indeed, so I think we have a lot on the table, and it's a great time to have coffee or lunch or whatever it is, wherever you are. So Edina, we will be back in 15 minutes or?
Yes, we'll be back in 15 minutes for a second session that won't be legal this time, but we'll have some time to return to the law in the final session as well, where we recap and where we bring in new speakers such as Lee and Vasilis. So thanks, Michael and Lillian, for sharing this, and thanks everyone. And I love the chat. The chat is also amazing because we just can't speak everything here. So it's really good that we have this.
Yeah, I'm saving the chat. I don't know if someone's officially saving the chat, but I'm saving it.
We are recording it, so there will be, if anyone is interested, we're happy to share as well, whatever is saved.